Welcome to another Fireside Chat. Today we're going to be speaking about the journey. It's interesting, like a lot of people talk the talk in a way, spiritually speaking, and they have in-depth conversations, but it's hard to put it into action. And it's easy to get comfortable and just get used to doing your thing. You go to work and you're maybe not motivated at work, and you come home and you just sit in front of the TV or just not do too much. And before you know it, you're just not feeling the best. You're not feeling motivated in the way society is, especially in West China. I mean, West Australia, with all the mandated segregation. And I don't know if you're noticing, Linda, but I'm definitely noticing, like the last few weeks, just before the vaccine passports sort of seem to be a permanent thing here. Hopefully the governments are taken down. And because obviously people should have a choice, and we're not the old Germany in the 1930s. Yep. People are asking, when I have an exemption for the mask, they're saying, "Oh, what's wrong? What's wrong with it? What is it? Is it asthma? What?" And they're inquiring. And I just give them a stare as if, no, I even said, like, what? Like, it's none of their business. And I would never tell them. I'm tempted at one point, given the opportunity, I'm just going to say, look, I've got this rash. I keep touching my groin, and it's got a rash. It's so itchy. I just can't get rid of it, and just have a bit of a scratch. And when I wear masks, I tend to touch my face, then express my face, and and pat him on the shoulder. I don't know if you can help me. Maybe you can take a look. Maybe book an appointment, and I can consult with you and my doctor, since you have an interest in,
my health.
Give an opportunity. But I think the first couple of times I was just surprised that they actually asked me. Then they start sort of, oh, is it this or is it that? And whatever the first thing is, they say, I go, yeah, like it's none of their business.
But some of it is deep trauma too. Like some people might have gone through some horrendous trauma.
I know. And it's just no boundaries. It's just rude. And and to ask, like I know a friend that was asked and no one's broke down because it reminded them of certain anxieties and other things.
Yeah.
People are so rude. They just don't know right and wrong. And I think I understand people are fearing. Some people are fearing, but fear just takes away the capacity to reason, for sure. And I was at Spudshed yesterday, and after paying, like he come up and he was nice about it, but he come up and put his hand on my trolley and wouldn't let the trolley go anywhere. So I said, what are you doing? He said, oh, where's your mask? You have an exemption. I need to see it. And I said, no, you don't. He said, oh, well, I said, you don't need to see anything. And he said, well, just call the manager over. And I said, they know me here. I'm here all the time. Call this other manager that hadn't seen before. And she said, we need to see it. She said, it's a private business. So therefore, condition of coming into the store. And she pointed to a sign that I hadn't seen. It's on the outside, I believe, of the exit. And you don't walk in that way. You walk in the other way. And I didn't see anything anyway.
Yeah.
And I don't think they can legally do that in any case. So she was nice enough about it in the sense that she said, oh, we won't look at your condition. We just want to see that you have one. And they should be, and it's all about, everything's backward. Like people just don't know. Like they should be doing it as a condition, or should be someone at the entry to the store. You don't like I'd bought my things already, and I was about to walk out, and he stopped my trolley. What would he do if I didn't have one, or if I couldn't find
that's right.
Like put a mask on just to walk 2 meters out of the store, or you can't take this food because you're dirty. And what's the difference between whether I'm wearing it or not, have an exemption or not? I'm still the same.
Yeah.
And the fact that people have options, they can take the jab if they want it, they can wear masks if they want it. So it's different when people don't have a choice, but have choices now on how they want to deal with this themselves. So I think it's pretty disgusting.
It's awful.
So, and so this guy was nice, but he wasn't going to let go of my trolley. And it's just, I'm not going to do something stupid. And, but in reflecting, I'll if they say it again, they probably will next time I go in there, because they don't track and trace everyone, I suppose. And so I remember in the 90s when I was here in Perth, and the corporations and the main bodies were trying to squeeze out Spudshed. And they were. They tried to. They said you couldn't sell potatoes. It was against the law. They passed some sort of law where they couldn't sell potatoes. So they just had them free. So people go in and get free bags of potatoes, and they bought the other things within the store. So we stood by this store back then, and now they're the they've become the very body they resisted 20 odd years ago. So there's a wise old saying that saying goes, any person can excel under duress, but if you want to see a true person's character, give them power. And often you see it where people are resisting, they're fighting to get to the top. Once they get to the top, they join force with those they fought against, and they forget the people that supported them on the way there. And I feel it's a bit of that where been going there, supporting them for a long time, and they can say that it's the government, it's this, it's that, but they're the ones following through in the ground level, and who'd know whether they checked it or not. But it's the fact that they don't give anyone a choice. And I think it starts from the top down when the government, the clown says, this is how it is. This is what's just and right and fair. But for me, even if some people are caving, there's still people that are standing up. But in 10 years' time, a lot's going to happen in the next 10 years. Like there's going to be so much. It's going to be potentially, there could be so much more going on, as in people being sick and all sorts of things potentially. And I just want to be known that I was on the right side of history and that I stood up, and we're leaving a legacy in a sense of, when we go, potentially people can listen to this, and because it'll never age, because ethics, and the way into heart and unraveling the mind remains the same. So it's just expressed differently, but it's the same basic technique and of unraveling. So I can stand in honor and integrity for our stance, and that's where it's like people. I won't condemn anyone that makes a choice, but I'll fight those that won't give me one as I give them. So, so I think the squashing of others, people are more depressed. The mental health is through the roof, I believe.
Yep.
And it's easy to say, and I know some friends that have been speaking to other friends when it comes to spirituality, they're saying, it's life is suffering. And that's an old Buddhist saying, I believe life is suffering. But, I'd say illusion is suffering, and life is basically illusionary. And as long as you're believing the entrapments of mind, the illusion that you're projecting and making and believing is suffering, for sure.
Yep.
So it's almost like what I've been noticing, and you sort of forget, we talk to each other in the journey we're on, a lot of interesting things are happening and you feel more, and life's rich most days, I would say. The government, I'm passionate and take a stance against their actions, but I don't obsess over both sides and the conspiracy theories and all the other side and get lost in it and get overwhelmed by it. It's just, it fuels the fire. Where you might be tired, you keep walking because you have to. That is a sense of empowering anyway, because every step forward, where even if other people can't walk or are afraid and you stand up, there's something that, there's inner fire that keeps being fed. And that inner fire isn't aggressive. It's just fuel. It's just standing up for values and what's right within yourself. And that doesn't mean
empowering. Self-empowering.
100%. And it doesn't mean people have to agree with me. It's a matter of walking in the direction that you feel with the most courage you have, and be prepared to unravel and discover more courage within, and be prepared to unravel and discover more of yourself along the way. And I thought we dedicate this chat to having the courage to make the change. The reason I wrote my book and we're doing what we're doing is because I have suffered fully at one stage of my life. A few stages, I wondered whether it was worth staying around, whether I should opt out, but there is no escape. And there are times where I ask for signs from the divine, whether you're religious, spiritual, or whatever your belief, but if you ask for signs, and for me, it wasn't a preconceived idea of what I should get, but I just wanted help. I wanted some form of a sign in my life. And there's times when I've been broken enough that I had some amazing experiences just to give me a sense of just hang in there, or that there was some greater purpose. And even if that's to help one life or one person, and we've helped a few people with the book and what we're doing, for sure. Yep. Already helped enough for this to be worthwhile. And that's not, wouldn't say dare say hundreds or anything like that, but there's a number of people that you've changed their lives. So it's how it is.
Definitely.
So the reason, once again, we're doing this is because I've had anxiety before, I've had depression before, and I know what it's like with anxiety, you fear the potential of something being around you or something not right, or someone being over your shoulder or something being around you or near you, and it's like you fear the reaction itself. And then for myself, I feared the judgment of a reaction within me, and fearing that the judgment of another for a reaction would create more of one. So I've been right in the middle of it, and I've been on a spiritual journey for a very long time, and so I refused to accept that that was my fate in my life because I didn't want to live like that. It's no way to live. Now, I've read books like the one for depression. Is it the Black Dog? It feels like when you're feeling down that it's never going to leave. I remember I was told, well, when I was depressed at times, well, even after it, because I had some pretty tough times, which is that's in the book, and similar experience in certain things. So, but every time, and mentally, and this is the whole thing, mentally it won't last, it never lasts, because life will fluctuate. You'll have good moments, you'll forget that you're suffering, and then it goes up and down. But every time you feel a sense of or a bout of depression, it feels like it's going to be there for good every time, every time. And it feels like, and I've spoken to those close to me and I said, do a meditation every day, do something you enjoy every day, something for yourself every day. And it's important to know that you won't change straight away, that those feelings or that it's like the underlying depression or that despair, that feeling of despair within, you'll feel like you're carrying it around you, and you'll think in a sense that you're never happy, but that's not true. You tend to forget that in moments, but then you feel sadness or despair, and you think, no, I've been carrying that everywhere. And then you start believing these things. And when you do a process in my experience, to change things, it doesn't change straight away. It takes, they say, a minimum of 21 days to change, to make new neural pathways in the mind, in the brain.
Mm-hmm.
So, and if you fall back here, and that could take slightly longer, but it's one day at a time. And it's about getting or developing good habits that can pull yourself out slowly. Yeah, I really feel that you have to be patient with yourself. I'm doing what I'm doing. We're doing what we're doing is because I've gone through it. I've experienced the despair, and I've had the ups and downs. And if I can work through that processing, and this is the whole thing. I'm no more special than anyone. Like, anyone can do it. It's just, you just have to be willing. It's like that Rocky theme. It's not how hard you can hit, it's how hard you can get hit. Keep getting back up. And every time you get up, you get stronger. Even if it doesn't feel like great, pull yourself to your feet. Because life will hit you hard. In a sense, it will challenge you. And you have to earn the right to be free. If it was easy, everyone will be doing it. But when you earn the right, you know how hard the journey is. And then you stop judging others because you know how hard it is. So instead of judging others for falling back or seemingly falling back, which doesn't mean they are, in their own struggle, you can support them over and over and over and over and over again, rather than have an expectation. I've told you once or twice. It's like I'll tell someone 1,000,000 times every day.
Yeah.
And people will say things, like, I really want this, or I want to change. I don't want to be like that. And that's it. That's done. It's done. I'll never do that again, or certain things. And then they'll fall back and they'll do something different. So someone might think, oh, they've lied. And I've said to others, no, they haven't. Like, they have in a way. But in that moment of despair and a moment where they're feeling shame or feeling certain things within, it's like, no way, they truly do not want to go back, whether it's drinking, whatever it is, smoking, could be anything. And it's a matter of putting things in their context. So in that space, when you're broken and open and you're not feeling good, it's like, no, and you're genuine, you don't want to do that. And then the mind comes in and tempts you or something, life's not feeling as good sometimes after that. And then the temptation comes in. So in that moment, we said, never again. You were actually genuine to yourself. That's what you truly felt.
Mm-hmm.
But as your emotion or one's emotions fluctuate, the feelings that come along with that and the voice in their head changes.
Yeah.
So it's combating that aspect that doesn't serve you, and it's seeing through that and being patient. So every time you slip back and you've broken through and you slip back, that process in itself is expanding awareness. So you shouldn't shut yourself down and think that you're a failure. You just become aware of the pattern as best you can. Mm-hmm. And then I think it's also important for people to say, just stop, don't drink, or do this or do that. It's like, I really feel it's very important in my experience to replace something or a negative habit with something positive.
Mm-hmm.
So to go cold turkey is extremely hard. It can be done, but it's extremely hard. And sometimes it's the best way to go cold turkey, but life's about discovering your own way. And I just feel it's very important. This is meant to be a motivational talk, to to say, don't accept suffering. Don't accept that this is your life and that you must just do what everyone else does, and don't even try almost. I've had friends recommend to others that, like, it's just life. Do this, do that, do what everyone else is doing. That's how it is.
Mm.
And then you look at some of these people and it's like, are they coping? What are they doing? And some are on medication or anxiety. Some are seeing people, and that's all okay. But learn to cope. That's important. You must learn to cope. But then in what I truly believe, don't get complacent with just coping. Don't learn to just cope.
Mm.
You must learn to break through those aspects. And that's where it's a death of 1,000 lashes, but the lashes are destroying the negativity in a sense. So it's not about destroying yourself. It's destroying that aspect of yourself, seeing through it, or breaking through that aspect that's bringing about and that pattern of pain and suffering.
Mm.
I just really feel like you see a lot of people that have a facade and they carry on as if they're not suffering, and some aren't, most are. And it's not common for people to break through the suffering. It's certainly not common, but it is absolutely possible. I think people just think you go from suffering to enlightenment, so to speak, and there's the stuff in between is mystical, mysterious, and no one really talks about that. I like to talk about the stuff in between because that's where the work gets done.
Yeah.
And even if it's rare, it's worth a shot. What other choice do we have? I just don't think we should ever get complacent in how we think and feel. And I feel that you must believe you can break free. You can create new habits, new patterns, a greater life due to a greater lifestyle. And it's all about creating a lifestyle that brings about a sense of fulfillment and happiness. And you may not feel, if you make changes, you may not feel that at the very start, even after a week or even after 2 weeks. But you have to, if it's meditation every day, if it's something every day for yourself, hang in there. And if something that you enjoy, but you don't get that sense of joy from it because you're distracted or you're lost in your thoughts or something like that, it's only because you might not have done that process for a while and you haven't associated joy with it, or there's too much on your mind. But it will free up over time if you do the right practice. And I feel you cannot give up. It can be broken through. It's not just all words. It's worth the journey. It really is. And I would never go back to how I was 10 years ago. And when I was encased in suffering and the misery, for all the money in the world, I would not go back.
Mm.
And I'm so glad that I had that hunger in me to keep seeking and I wanted to learn from those that could see more than me. And I didn't validate my feelings, didn't prove to them that my feeling and my suffering was true and correct, and their way was just off the planet and not attainable. I believed it was. I thought, if they can see it, so can I. And then I just did my meditations. I did for myself. I did meditations, mantras, certain Indian ceremonies, like prayer type things. I did a combination of things like different types of ceremonies, not all sort of Indian ceremonies, but American Indian. And they say, if you want to discover water, you won't find water from digging multiple holes in the backyard. It's by digging one hole and you keep digging that hole. So it's like you might try a number of things out and that might become a distraction, but find a few things that you enjoy. You don't have to dig the same hole all the time. You'll find water eventually, but have a few options, a few different pathways into yourself that you can, if you feel like you're not motivated for one and you need a break, you can go take the other path that leads you to the same place within yourself. So it's important to understand, and it's worth finding out how much is attainable. Can you make yourself feel better or see through your thoughts? You have to take the journey. Everything we're doing, if I didn't truly believe that people could work through their own suffering in their own mind, and if they couldn't get to a better place, and it's not all about the end game, it's about the journey. The goal is to start enjoying the journey in your life more. And it doesn't matter what goes on externally around you, limitations, restriction, like in WA where I live as well. We live, it's attainable. This is real. The thoughts in your head are not. If I didn't believe this was achievable, I wouldn't be doing this. We wouldn't be doing these podcasts and the video, like YouTube and the stuff that we're doing. We're putting content out there. We're not earning anything from it. We're doing this no matter what, and it's not about the money. If it comes, it comes, and it'd be nice if it does. But in the meantime, we're not stopping because this is our passion.
Yeah.
And that's our passion because it is achievable. We've applied the medicine and you've gone through great change and become so much softer and have so much more access to yourself, haven't you?
Oh,
So do you
sure.
want to speak about the last couple of years, if you don't mind, and just share, get a sense of yourself? You might inspire others.
Okay. See how it goes.
So I just threw it on you. Go for it. Here's the platform.
Wasn't expecting
and
this.
here's Linda. Linda, where is she? At Lib, I don't plan anything. It's just all, I don't
let's just wing it.
Just went that way. So
let's
right?
wing it. See where we end up.
Yeah. I'll go and sit on the toilet for half an hour and come back.
See, I was sitting here talking to myself. Well, I think over the years I built up a defense mechanism, I guess, that worked very, very well for me. But I didn't see it as a defense mechanism. I didn't see it as I was shutting myself off because I didn't have any major issues. I functioned quite well.
You're pretty level in a sense. You're just like pretty level generally. Yep.
Very level. Even
no
moods
major highs, no
super...
major lows.
Yeah, no, that's right.
Yep.
Yeah, that's right. Moods were I hardly ever got angry. And I mean, I was happy, but wasn't overjoyous about anything either. So, yeah, very level and cruised along and lived my life. And then it was pointed out to me that that was a defense mechanism. That's when I started really looking at it because I used to describe myself as fiercely independent. And I heard somewhere where that is a defense mechanism. I thought, but that was something I was proud of because I didn't need anyone. I've never depended on other people for help or to achieve anything. And that's when I started turning it around and sort of reflecting on it and really seeing how.
I didn't say. Did I say it was a defense mechanism? Is that?
No, I heard it. It wasn't you. It was someone else. I heard that initially, but then I spoke to you about it, and I think that's when I started diving into it more and more.
I remember we mentioned, it's like a lot of the chats, people go, yeah, I know this, I know that, and I'd mention things to you and you go, yep, or straight away, boom, as if like, yep, like straight away, rather than going without reflecting or contemplating, yep. It's almost like, don't look over here, no, I've got it.
Yeah, well, intellectually, I felt I knew it. I really did feel I knew a lot of it, but it wasn't applied, and that's where the difference lies.
You thought you were applying it.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
I did. It's almost like I'd convinced myself that that's where I was, because I didn't have any major issues. I think, and I don't know.
Challenges.
Yeah. Well, not at that point in my life. I mean, I had some younger, but that's why I ended up the way I was. But so I thought I was functioning quite well. But the more I twisted and turned it, it's like, I realized that I was just closing off my heart, really, essentially. I mean, and that's not to say I didn't love people or anything like that, but since I've been opening up and breaking down those walls, things are a much deeper level now.
So how did you break down the walls? They're tough questions.
Yeah. Questioning, I guess, questioning and opening up more by a lot of meditation, a lot of self-searching and questioning and really looking at it from different perspectives. Because, I mean, I only initially have my perspective, which I thought was an accurate one, and then looking at maybe this, maybe that, try something else, and bit by bit. I mean, it takes time. It takes work. And it's not something you can just glance at and go, yeah, okay. It's something you really have to explore.
Question.
Yeah.
I think through our friendship, you asked a lot of questions as well, and there was a lot of things. So there's opportunities where something's about to fall away. I just throw something at you, and then you'd go, get you almost off guard. But it's that hunger. That was the driving force, wasn't it?
Yeah, I love searching. I love looking at things. I love exploring. I love growing. I love evolving. It's something I enjoy, and I search it out. And the thing is, I had never come across anyone that was like you previously. So there was no one that I could question that would have any answers. So when I came across you, it's like hit the jackpot.
Well,
Someone that got it, someone that understood on a deeper level what was going on that I can discuss it with.
I think the key thing is when you think you know it, you understand the concepts. And I remember for myself, before I sort of cracked open, I thought I started writing a book, and that's when I went through more hell than I've ever experienced on a deeper level. It's that non-conceptual, because you'd be like, is it like this? Well, not really about that. Yeah, sort of, but not. But it's never, I don't think it's at one point I really said, yeah, it's exactly like that. It's like, yeah, that's the direction in a sense, because analogies, words will always fall short, but it's that trying to like you're trying to point to the moon and you don't look at you just look at someone's finger. So it's like it's somewhere, there's a bit of mystery in there. It is a bit mysterious, and that's what draws you in. And then it's unraveling. You can never fully grasp it. The wholeness of the understanding expands. And then you can speak about things from multiple points of view. I remember, and you had an understanding of certain things. There's some depths there, and absolutely. And you said, if I don't get it, then I can't really do much about it. It's there. It's just their lack of wanting to see. And I remember I mentioned to you that everyone's a different creature, a different animal in a sense, this analogy. Yeah. And I said, so it's about, you don't feed a tiger bird seed. You don't feed a hippo, or whatever. You have to give them the food that they can digest.
Yeah.
And then it's like, although you have this understanding, to be able to offer it in varying ways, in ways that is palatable for different beings or different creatures, so to speak, in small doses. I said expand that understanding so you can offer it in many diverse ways with different beings, and then your understanding will deepen. And I think that you took that to heart. So then that gives you a sense of reading people instead of going, well, this is what I have to offer. You either can understand it or you don't, in a sense. And I think within that, and I'm not saying that's all the catalyst, because there was a lot of things happening, but there's a number of things that were thrown or offered in your direction.
Yeah.
And then within that expanse, instead of it's encased, the understanding is encased in something, that casement is off. And then it overflows. So you have to expand yourself and become softer to allow that to permeate and get bigger. And then you can offer more aspects of yourself in varying ways, and your understanding therefore deepens.
Yeah.
It's a pretty deep thing anyway for people listening in to understand, and to apply that into spirituality. But it takes away the my way or the highway. It's like, well, you can actually have the time, you become more patient and you hear more. So you get a sense of the other person instead of having this is what I have in my arsenal, this is my weapon, I'm going to fire it in your direction. You either can take it or you can't. You think, no, I have a lot more armament, or I have a lot more things I can offer, because this other way won't work because of sense of vulnerability or based on their background or whatever that is. And that's always expanding in your understanding to offer certain things to others based on conditioning, things, certain ideas, stereotypes, characters, personalities, a whole lot. That expansion rather than being rigid. And I think the mind will cause a sense of rigidity. And I feel what I've noticed hugely change within you is the softness and heart, which has impacted your kids and Mike and like your family. They've all softened, haven't they? It's amazing.
Yeah, definitely.
So it's a beautiful thing to watch. So this is why we do what we do. If there's anything you want to add to that, because I sort of chime in once again and sort of go, yeah, I'm going to take over now. Thank you. give me the ball back.
Taking that baton back.
Yeah.
All yours.
Yeah, so, but I think it's important not just to hear from myself, but yourself and chiming in and offering certain things. And I think it gives a more opportunity for people to relate with both of us. And attitude is everything. And we have to fight, and there's nothing worth fighting for more than peace, fulfillment, happiness. We do not, I truly believe the happiness we feel is the one that we feel we deserve ultimately. And I think there's been books on this. There's a psychologist book where they said that you can win the lotto, you can lose something, like lose a limb or something happens, and you'll be deflated or inflated with joy, but then you'll level out again. So your character and attitude. So let's say you won the lotto, for example. You might have a sense of freedom and there's no pressure, less pressure, but the character will remain the same. And you might have lots of things and you may have lots more distractions. So therefore, you're not suffering as much as when you had nothing. But the thoughts within your head typically will remain the same if you don't address them. And if you have money, you might think you have power. So then the self-worth, if you don't feel secure in yourself and you have money and have the illusion of power, you may dominate. So then there's still that positioning. And as long as there's positioning in the world, then and you're not seeing others or you're comparing yourself to others. And often people compare themselves based on financial things or things they accumulate in their life.
Yeah.
And heart is the true value, the true worth, that which remains with you, into the next life, whatever you believe. Work on that this life. Whatever you believe, when you transcend here, you want to be as deep as you can be and as fulfilled as you can be. And it's nice to have good things and nice things, but why put all your effort into the external when you can't take anything with you? And so enjoy what you can on the external, but focus on the internal as much as you can, and don't ever submit, never give in, fight for freedom, for joy, for fulfillment, because you deserve it. And if you're listening to this chat in this very moment, I don't believe in chance. It's the meaning you get from that, and this is it. Start now. Create one thing. If it's meditation, incense meditation or a candle or something, do something every day for yourself. Try something, even if it's 5 minutes, do something and then try and expand that. And you will, I truly believe, and take the challenge, that you will pull yourself out of a sense of despair or suffering. You will slowly, at the very least, maybe quicker, you start creating neural pathways of a deeper fulfillment. And then you'll discover other things you need to unravel. You must begin a journey, and you must never give in. So that's what I truly feel, and that's what the point of this chat. So if anyone would like to comment or share anything, by all means do. And we're going to keep putting out content because we love it and it's worth it, and there's no greater journey, and we absolutely believe that. So thanks for listening in, and stay tuned, and we look forward to the next one. Bye for now.